Yo, what's going on, guys? Michael Tapia here, of course. Um, I kind of been thinking about today. I really wanted to make a video and see if I can provide value for anybody. So I was kind of thinking about what I should talk about, and I remembered that there was this segment that I read from Robert Kiyosaki. It was in his book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. If you haven't read it yet, I highly recommend that everybody read it. It's actually the number one finance book in the world. It's the best. He's the best-selling author, most well-known author, actually, and very, very influential guy. And he teaches through what I'm going to go over. This is basically what he says is what you need to master in order to have financial literacy, be financially educated, and really you have to master this segment here in order to best position yourself financially. So let me go ahead and go right in. This is an income statement, and excuse my little whiteboard here, but what this concept is an income statement. So as you can see here, I went ahead and made two. I'm going to be focusing on this one here. But the 6 words that he says that you need to master in order to become financially literate are income, expenses, assets, liabilities, and the last two most important words right there, cash flow. Most important, because ultimately that is the goal, to have cash flow, and you want to have perfect cash flow, ideal cash flow, right? So I'm going to go over the 3 levels of different ways that, let's just say, people here in America spend, or how their cash flow, how their money flows through this equation, right? Through this quadrant. So I'm going to start here with a job. And through job, really what I mean is just active income. It's anything that you're actively doing in order to generate income, whether that be, going to a job, side hustle, grind, whatever you want to call it, or just a hustle, right? Here in your job, you it gives you income, right? So from that income goes through here, your job gives you income, and from that income, this is what the lower class does, remind you, it goes down to expenses and it flows out. And I'm going to get back to where this money exactly goes, because maybe sometimes there's a little bit left over if you're not living paycheck to paycheck, which a lot of people here in the United States actually are. So this is what the lower classes cash flow looks like on this income statement, right? It goes from their job to their income to their expenses, and then it flows off the chart, right? So let me show you the middle class. Middle class, same thing. They go ahead and start from a job. They go here to, they have their income from their job or their side hustle, whatever it may be. And instead of going here to their expenses, well, they're going to come back here, of course, but they actually go to their liabilities, right? They come back up to their expenses, and then they also go ahead and flow out. So, exactly what are the liabilities? This is a very important concept to know, because you have to know the difference between, or actually, what is a liability? Liability is something that takes money out of your pocket, right? And there's a big reason you need to know the difference between a liability and an asset, right? A lot of people wouldn't know the difference if they don't know this concept at all. And the thing is that some people mistake liabilities as assets. So the ultimate question you have to ask yourself is it taking money out of your pocket, or is it putting money in your pocket, right? And the biggest misconception is that a home is an asset, right? Your car is an asset. Is it really though? Because they say, yeah, you hold some equity in it, but at the end of the day, it's depreciating. um you know Homes do appreciate, So they do gain some return of interest, but you know, that's just equity. Unless you sell your home, you can't pull that money. So there's no cash flow there. It's stagnant. You know, it is going up with return of interest if the market is going up, but hey, it can ultimately crash as well. So a home, you're paying taxes, you're paying insurance, you know, ultimately you need somewhere to live, so it's better than paying rent because you're, you know, not paying 100% interest because rent is 100% interest because you just pay to live there and your money's gone, right? So the middle class pays a mortgage. Maybe they have a car. You know, maybe that's all they need, and that's where they're spending their money. And money comes back to their expenses, which expenses are everything that we need to live, you know, food, water, gas, a place to stay, you know, maybe you have just groceries, all that type of stuff, everything that we need on a day-to-day basis, water. And from there, their cash flow goes out. So I'm going to show you what the higher class does. The higher class keeps a full motion here in this income statement. And how do they do that? Right? So again, lower class, income, expenses out. Middle class, income, liabilities, expenses out. Now what the higher class does is from their liabilities, they go into their assets and their assets go into their income, right? So their money doesn't have to come from a job. The difference between someone in the middle class and the upper class is that once they hit that their liabilities, the leftover money, they don't throw it out here. They put that money back in into an asset. They invest that money, whether it be, you know, into a business, into rental properties, into stocks, whatever you are into that you can take interest to invest your money in and get ROI, return on interest on your money. And from this return on interest, right? Or from, you know, your businesses giving you money because they're creating cash flow, your rental properties are creating cash flow, they are now putting money in your pocket, right? And you need this cash flow. The reason why cash flow is so important is because someday we are going to want to retire. I don't know what time you guys want to retire. Everybody maybe has their mind set on when they're going to retire, if you even have to, and or if you even can. I'm sorry. And what's going to happen? This job is going to go away. So now what are you going to do? You're going to rely on your savings. Maybe you did, you know, invest in some stocks and things like that. But ultimately, there's going to be no more cash flow, right? This is going to stop, and maybe, you know, this is your bank account. It's your asset, and you know it's just going to be going into your income, and you're going to drain all of your savings, right? So let me show you a little bit of a spin on this here, right, as well. So I said I was going to circle back to this, and I said the lower class and the middle class, their flow comes out through here, right? Their cash flow comes out through here. So exactly where does it go, right? I mean, some people, you know, maybe invest it into the bank. I mean, I think most people do. Um, or you know, some people throw it in their mattress, do whatever, put it in between their walls. I don't know, put it in the safe. You know, it's all up to you where it goes. But ultimately, your money depreciates, right? So what most people do is they say, "Hey, let me put my money into the bank, into the savings, right? Or maybe I put it into a CD. Maybe it gives me, you know, a bit of a higher return, but I can't touch it because now these are this is here Wall Street. And by Wall Street, I just want to kind of just full circle around the whole financial industry that is an institution that is like a bank, or some sort of financial organization that holds your money ultimately, right? And maybe they promise you a return in a ultimate number of years, or you can just put it straight into your bank account, right? And now these now become your savings. You're putting that in your bank, and that's actually going over to these Wall Street guys, and now it is in their assets. This is now what they call assets under management. This is crazy stuff. And now what they do, since their assets under management, is they go ahead and now invest in businesses and stocks, in anything that's going to give them high returns on their interest while they're holding your money, right? And guess what they're going to go ahead in their expenses to give you? Their expense to give you is 1% return on interest on your money, while they made hundreds percent worth off of your money, right? Instead of your money's going to get invested regardless. So, do you want to invest your money? Do you want to let the banks invest it for you and give you 1% return on interest when average inflation is 4% a year? So, did you really gain anything? I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there. Um, if you guys have any questions, feel free to contact me. If you found any value in this, um, send me a DM. And please, if you can, just give me any feedback. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, hope to connect with you guys soon.